2006 that I started this YouTube channel in November, and it is now coming to the end of 2012. And it was just back then when I was just starting to get involved with Jewish studies. Actually, it was like a year before that, maybe 2 years. And I was coming out of an intense study on the book of Daniel, and the 77s chapter. And so I was looking for answers. Mainly I had started to write a small booklet on the defense of Christianity and reasons why Christianity is true, or was true. And so, I'm still very convinced of my faith. I've come a long way from. It seems like I've come a long way, but yet I've never felt like I've ever left the central core of my faith in the messiahship of Jesus. And being raised in the church, actually raised in the Brethren Church, the Grace Brethren denomination, a very fundamental, foundation in Bible, a very kind of solo scriptura kind of background. And so I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful for my family over at the Brethren Church, and I'm grateful for all of my brothers and sisters who have supported me along the way of my faith journey and continue to support me. And so it's interesting, though, in this last year has been very interesting, because I still find myself listening to Christian music in the car, and some of it I just find so here in Southern California, one of the main stations is The Fish, and so I listen to that, and at times I have to kind of like change stations because it's not really ministering to my spirit. At times I feel like it's just good Christian entertainment, which is fine. That's fine sometimes, right? Perfectly fine. I just feel like I get a sense that overall the evangelical community here in Southern California has sort of been dragging their feet in regard to relating to the culture around them. And I'm not talking about letting go of core ideals, core doctrines of your faith. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is a mentality that is open to your community. That when I say to have an open mind to non-believers, to have an open mind toward the atheist community, it's not that your mind is so open that it just falls out of your head. No. What it is just to be able to listen to somebody, to be able to listen to their point of view, to listen to their arguments and say, all right, interesting point of view, and we have differing views, and to move on. It's a lesson that this generation is having to learn the hard way all over again. And so, it's like when I'm listening to some of this music, I feel like it's not as open, or universally touching, the heart of the unchurched, so to speak, and so we all have come along this journey, and everyone is in a different point along their faith walk, so it's just that I still visit other churches regularly, Protestant churches, evangelical churches that or Pentecostal churches, or charismatic churches, Catholic, which happens to be the one that I continually am a part of. But my core study, worldview, is a Masonic worldview, and once you fall down that rabbit hole, which happened to me about 8 years ago, you see the truth in a whole different dimension. It's not like you let go of what you believe about Jesus. It's just that a lot of things start to make sense in another way. And the whole idea of church, really comes together, and like the church invisible versus, the church here, administratively or whatever, however they want to term it. That was always confusing to me anyway, because I was always trying to make sense of, what really applied to the local community versus the church universal. But anyway, I digress. I guess my main point in this video is being that, I've really come to a point now where I know how important it is to be able to have my faith, to declare my faith, and be okay with the community around me not believing the same way. Now, it's one thing to say that, and it's one thing to believe that that's what you actually do, and then it's quite another to just see it in a deeper level and to live it, and because I can tell you right now, I visited another church, last Sunday, and it was like the same old thing from 10 years ago. So, was it bad? No, it wasn't bad. I still worshipped. there, I still fellowshipped. But I felt like the whole package, especially the sermon, the methodology of the sermon. And I'm not saying it was a bad sermon or anything like that. I'm just saying that the way that it is conveyed is very standoffish, is the best word I guess I could put it. It's like you really have to, if you're going to reach others with the truth, you're going to have to talk to them in a manner that's very frank and open and honest. And I think that, this is what we're all, realizing, and that is, it really needs to, we need to take it up another notch, And there are certain doctrines within, quote unquote Christianity that are not, in my opinion, they're not Christian, So, when I say certain doctrines, I'm talking about, like dispensationalism, like the church age, the ways that we interpret the Bible, and this is going to be like a never-ending battle, but, it's not like all of the denominations have to come around and like we all have to unify into one big ecumenical, faith. But I think a majority of us need to really, come together, and we need to work with, the evangelicals, and, there needs to be a common bond and an understanding, in regard to in regard to particularly, I think, the Hebrew roots movement, I think is important, and the identity of the church, the very identity being, basically Jewish in origin, and there has to be like this understanding that it's not an us-them mentality. In other words, oh yeah, I love Israel, I support Israel, but if they become Christian, they need to stop practicing their Judaism. Well, no. I mean, if they're raised Jewish and they come to a belief in Jesus as a Messiah, there is no reason why any Jew should quit practicing their Judaism. No, because God has commanded them to keep the Torah. So there just needs to be a fuller picture in that regard. Anyway, I've blathered enough. God bless everyone. Merry Christmas to you all. And happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. And peace be with you all. I look forward to my next video. And remember to keep seeking truth.